Hello, and Jason from Warrior Marketers here. I hope you're having a great day. And I thought I'd record this quick video for you today because one of the questions I get asked a lot is how do I manipulate PSD files if I don't want Photoshop? Now, Photoshop is obviously the granddaddy of all this image editing, but it can get quite expensive. When you used to be able to buy it on a one-time fee, it was incredibly expensive. Of course, now they've gone on to the monthly payment plans, and as you can see on my screen here, the photography plan is $10 a month, which is not particularly expensive. However, if you're only using Photoshop once or twice a month or whatever, is it really worth paying $10 for? Probably not. So I can understand why people don't want to fork out a monthly fee for something that they're going to use once every now and again. If you're someone that uses a lot of PLR, private label rights content, they normally come with editable PSD files for your banner ads, your covers, and anything else that comes with it image-wise. But of course, if you haven't got access to Photoshop, you normally think, oh, I'm stuffed, I can't do anything with it. But you're wrong, because there are other ways that you can edit PSD files. And I'm going to show you in this video, excuse me. And there are at least 3 ways that you can do it for absolutely free. So let's go on to those now, and I'll show you them all. And I'll tell you which one I think is the best and the one I use the most. Full disclaimer, I do actually have Photoshop and I do use it, but I also use these tools too. So if you don't have Photoshop, feel free to have a look at these. So the first one is GIMP. So if you go to gimp.org, it's totally free. And like Photoshop, it's a piece of software that you can download to your computer. So you can run it offline. So that's one of the biggest benefits of this one. You can run it offline. So if you haven't got an internet connection, you can just open up the software, grab your PSD file and edit it. However, there are some drawbacks to GIMP. And there are lots of tutorials online. So if you need to know how to do something, there is a lot of information online. But the thing is with PSD files, importing them into GIMP, what will happen is you will lose a lot of the functionality that you can edit. I've opened one up here, and this is a PLR. I've got a PLR package here that comes with a selection of posters. So I've opened up this poster in GIMP, and so far so good. If you look over here, you can see all the layers. However, if I click on one of these layers, let's click on Never. So now that's this layer here that says Never. If I click on the text tool, normally if you go onto something like Photoshop or whatever, you just click on that tool and you can edit it. Unfortunately, when GIMP imports PSD files into its software, it doesn't keep the layers as they are. They're sort of like rasterized and changed into basically bitmaps. So you can't edit any any text. So that's a bit of a downer. So I personally don't use GIMP. Obviously I've got it on my PC because you can see it here, but I don't use it because it's just too restrictive, and it's got quite a steep learning curve. I actually find it more difficult to use GIMP than it is to use Photoshop. And people say that Photoshop's difficult, but I find GIMP much harder. And because of the fact that you can't really edit PSDs properly, it's a bit of a non-starter for me. So that's GIMP. So let's just close out GIMP. The next one, obviously, let's have a quick look at Photoshop itself. This is an old version of Photoshop that I got for free. You can download this many years ago. But what happens here, what should happen is you find your layer. So let's go to U, and you would just click on that layer. And as long as you've got the font installed on your PC, you can just change this to whatever you want. I'm not going to save that, but you can change it, and obviously then you can save it again as a PSD or export it as a PNG or a JPEG. So that's what you should be able to do. Okay, but obviously in GIMP you couldn't do that. So that's there. So obviously Photoshop, GIMP, they're both softwares that you can download to your PC and run offline. Now let's go on to some online options that you've got. And the first one, let's get rid of this, shall we? The first one is Pixlr. So this is an online tool that you can use to edit PSDs. But again, you will find that if you're using some complex PSD files, you won't be able to import them. And going back to my folder here, let's just open up one of the JPEGs. And you'll see here, it looks quite normal, doesn't look particularly difficult, but this has got lots of masking and overlays on it, and you will find that if I try to open this in Pixlr, it probably won't let me. So if I go to open image from computer, let's just open up any one of these. Let's just try, I don't know, let's try this one here. I get an error. And that error 2030 is basically telling you that it can't open it. It's just too complex. So it's a basic editor Pixlr. But it works. If you can get it to open the PSD file, it works fine, and it works very similar to Photoshop. So don't discount it just because it can't open all of them. It can open a lot of them, but if it's a complex one with lots of masking and stuff like that, then you probably won't be able to use it. So now you can go on to my particular favorite, which is Photopea. So you go into photopea.com and you can just create a new project from scratch, or open one from your computer. And I'm going to open, let's just open the first one here. Okay, that's open. Now, if you noticed on the video there, on the screen, you probably would have saw that one of those fonts was not loaded. So what will happen is, let's just open up, let's just click over here to content, and you can see all the layers. This is all the text layers. So let's go to U, which is this layer here. So if I go to the text tool and click on this, it changes the text layout, and it's just because the particular font that was used for this file has not been loaded. However, the great thing about Photopea is that you can actually load fonts. Now, bearing in mind that it is an online tool, so every time you want to manipulate the same file, you're going to have to load the fonts again and again, but at least you can do it. You can't do that with the others. So if I cancel that, so if I now go to File, Open, this particular piece of PLR actually comes with the fonts used in a text file, so it tells you what fonts are being used, and then you can just go and download them. In this case, it's this Built Titling, and I'm just going to highlight all of these and then hit Open, and it's loaded all those fonts into Photopea. So now I'm going to be able to edit this, and it will be exactly the same as it was. So if you just hang on a second, wait for them to move out of the way. So I'll go back to that word now, U, click on it, and as you can see, the layout's not changed. So let's just change it to me. The layout's exactly the same. Okay, so this is probably the best tool to edit and export your PSD files that you're getting from, like I said, if you're using a lot of PLR, then they all come with PSD files, and the best way to edit them is probably in Photopea. GIMP is just too restrictive. It's got a steep learning curve, and when you import PSD files, you lose a lot of functionality. Pixlr is fine if you can get it open. If you can't get it open in Pixlr, then obviously you're pretty stuffed. So what I would suggest is that you use Photopea. It's a fantastic piece of software, and it also allows you to import your fonts. Like I said, the only thing is if you're importing fonts and you're playing with this, you can save it for later. You can download the PSD and then re-upload it later on to continue editing. But if you're editing text, you will need to upload the fonts again because it's online. It's not perpetual. It's an online tool. So as soon as you come out of Photopea and then go back into it, it won't have those fonts loaded. So just load them up again and continue editing. So if you want to edit PSD files for free, I suggest you just go to photopea.com and edit to your heart's content. I hope you found this video useful. If you do, please like it and leave a comment. And whatever you do, I hope you have a fantastic day. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel, where you're going to get more hints and tips on how to help you to grow your online business. And wherever you're in the world, have a great day. Thanks for watching.